is time for Fiber at 4. It is August 22nd, and I can't believe this month is almost over. I know I keep saying that, but my goodness, this year is going by quickly. So, have a few announcements before we kick off. I'm going to talk just for a couple more seconds to see if we've got people who can hear us. So we've got a bunch of really neat events coming up here soon. So for those of you who have been with us for a while, you know that this year is our 9-year anniversary. So that will be kicking off in September. So yay, 9 years, hooray. So hey Mom. So our birthday celebration is going to kick off September 3rd, where we will be having yarn bowl painting at Crackpots here in downtown Longmont. It will be our anniversary theme. Hey Nancy! So that's September 3rd, which is a Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. at Crackpots. So if you don't know where Crackpots is, it's kind of kitty-cornered from our location here on Main Street. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have people instructing us on how to paint aspen trees on our yarn bowls, so that's going to be fun. There's also going to be a lot more events coming up with a lot more details as we get closer to time. There's going to be, we have a special colorway yarn dyed by Yarn Baby up in Windsor. And we will also have our fashion show and the contest for the fastest knitter and crocheter, and that's going to be the weekend of the September 10th, I believe. So there will be more details to come as we get closer to time. And coming up here this week, believe it or not, it's almost the end of the month. Thursday night there will be a Barocco yarn tasting over Zoom at 5:30, so it's a tasting for their fall yarns. There's still plenty of room, so go ahead and get signed up for that online or over the phone or in person. We also have another Barocco fall yarn tasting that will be in person on August 28th, which is a Saturday, at 9:30 in the morning. It will be right here, right where I'm standing, so we look forward to seeing you all there. There's still plenty of room, plenty of spaces. If you do sign up for the Zoom tasting, please let us know if you want us to ship your kit or if you want to come pick it up. We are getting kind of close to where we'd be running out of time to ship it, so if you want to get your kit shipped, I'd recommend ordering it today or tomorrow. The in-person tasting, your kits will be provided when you come in, so you don't have to worry about shipping or picking up or anything, so yay. Okay, so tonight's theme. I think this is a great theme, because working here at the shop, I hear a lot of people say that they're a little nervous about lace weight yarns because they are so skinny. So my goal tonight is to try and help you set aside those fears of lace weight yarn. So, hey Nancy! So I'm going to give you some ideas for lace weight yarn, and just, let's get rid of that fear of lace weight. I want you all using lace weight by the time we're done here. Hey Laura! So first of all, with lace weight, you don't necessarily have to work it by itself. Lace weight is a great yarn to hold double with another yarn to kind of create a different effect. So as an example of that, I've got our LIS Day beanies, both the knit and crochet version. These were made holding sport weight yarn with the Katia Mohair shades, which are these guys right here. So the lace kind of creates a different effect on the yarn. It almost changes the color. So the Katia Mohair shades, these are just little spools of lace weight. These are fantastic to hold double with another yarn. So, Marianne, I forgot the price of these guys. Marianne's here with me tonight, so if you hear a second voice, it's Marianne.
I'll look it up.
So these are, it's 67% mohair and 30% polyamide. There are 218 yards on these guys, and I only grabbed 4 colors because there's like 50 colors. So I thought I'd pick a nice neutral gray, which is color number 4, and honestly that's what they're called by the number. This lovely sky blue, which is color number 26. color 28, which is this lovely greenish teal, and then color 38, which is this very lovely bright fuchsia. So we use these guys on our hats. So this is the crocheted version. I just changed the stitch pattern up a little bit from what the written pattern said. The written pattern was more like this guy. So just plain singles and doubles. And then Melanie designed the knit hat, which has this long ribbing on it. I just folded it up so it would fit better on the model. So
$11.99.
okay, so the Mohair shades are $11.99 per spool. That's 218 yards of lace weight. So I did bring a quick demo for you guys in case you out there may not know what I mean by holding double with 2 yarns. So I have a little crochet sample, and I'm just going to move a little closer to the camera. So I've got a worsted weight yarn here. It's a really old yarn that I made a sweater out of probably about 8 years ago, because I think I got the yarn shortly after the shop opened. Then I've got my Hedgehog lace weight, which I will show you here in a minute. So here we go. So I've just done a quick little sample of double crochets here. So this is what the yarn looks like on its own. So if I want to hold double, of course with crochet I have to add it in when I'm in the last step of my stitch, so I'm doing doubles. So I'm going to wrap my working yarn and then add on my lace weight and pull it through. So holding double, I mean I'm holding both strands at the same time and working with both strands at the same time. So I'm just going to do couple quick doubles here so I can show you guys the effect that lace creates with the worsted weight yarn.
Hi, Christy.
Oh, hey, Christy. So doing this as fast as I can. I tell people I'm not fast, but I'm good. So say the same thing about knitting too. So this is the effect that the lace weight creates while I'm holding it double with my worsted. If you notice here, this is creating a halo, and by halo what I mean is it's a little bit fuzzier than just the straight worsted weight by itself. So let me do just a couple more stitches to kind of give you an idea so you can see an overall effect. If my yarn doesn't go running away. Sorry, trying to hold this at a good angle. The camera's up kind of high, so I feel like I'm holding my arms over my head. Let's see, so here's the part where I worked the worsted by itself, and then here's where I added in the lace weight yarn. So you can see it almost changes the color of the yarn when you're working with it too. So, but this part's much more fuzzy, just because the yarn is fuzzy. It's got a halo to it. And I really like that effect. I think it's really cool. The good thing about lace weight is it doesn't change the overall weight of the yarn you're working with too much. It's, of course, going to add a little bit of heft to it, but not a lot because lace weight is so very light. So that's idea number one for lace weight yarn. You can hold it double with another yarn. So the lace weight yarn I used was the Hedgehog. This is the Kid Silk Lace, and it is $38 per hank. It's 70% mohair, 30% silk, and there are 420 meters here, which equals out to about 429, 430 yards. So this is even the color I was using a second ago. This is called Typewriter. And in the hank, you can really see that lovely fuzzy halo going on there. And currently we have 5 colors total in stock. So I've got the Typewriter, got Method, which is lovely blues, purples, and greens. So I wonder who ordered this color. This is opalite, and this is a very pale pink, lavender, and blue on a nice white base. This is Firefly, which I thought this was just such a cool color. It's a navy blue with splotches of neon orange, yellow, and pink in there. And then this one to kind of celebrate the colors of the year, which of course are yellow and gray. This is called Bee's Knees. And first of all, that's an awesome name. I love Bee's Knees. But this is a creamy white base with bright yellow and some gray and some golds and blues kind of mixed in there. So I thought that was a really awesome color. So that, again, is the Hedgehog Kid Silk Lace. It's a 70/30 Mohair silk blend. With anything Hedgehog, you want to hand wash it. Also dry it out of direct sunlight. Drying it in direct sunlight will cause the colors to fade. So always do that with Hedgehog. So again, that is $38 per hank. Another good yarn to use double would also be the Apothecary. So this is it's similar to the Hedgehog. It's 74% 26% alpaca silk blend. It has the lovely halo on that as well. So this is also $38. There's 327 yards here. So this color is called Bare Branches. It is a creamy white base with some browns and blues. If you can see there's a tiny bit of pink in there as well. This is the last hank we have in the shop. This is called Sultry September. And this, we also have this in a fingering weight yarn too. So if you want to hold it double with something, we have it in fingering weight too. This is teals, a little bit of rust color in there, some purples, and some deep burgundies. And then this is Song of Spring, greens and blues. Even though yellow and gray are the colors of the year, blue has been very, very popular. So for those of you who like blue, this is a great blue. So again, that is the Apothecary Halo Lace. It is 74% alpaca, 26% silk, and there's 327 yards here. And she does dye with eco-friendly acid dyes, so this is a very environmentally friendly company. We will be getting more colors of both this and the Hedgehog within the next couple weeks, so be sure to watch the website. Speaking of the website too, all the products we're showing you here tonight are in the Fiber at 4 category under the shopping tab. So if you see something you like, it's going to be a little bit easier to find. So lace weight yarn too, it's another idea is it's really fun to incorporate with other weight yarn in a project to create a different effect. So I've got 2 examples of that. Sorry, going off camera here for a second. So this is Birds of a Feather shawl. And I apologize, this is actually just straight lace weight yarn. I think there might be a fingering in there. Where'd the tag go? Okay, yeah, this is, they're so close in color that they kind of blended together. So the parts with the more halo to it, that is the Hedgehog Kid Silk Lace. And then there is a stripe in here of regular fingering weight Hedgehog. So by working with 2 thicknesses of yarns, you're kind of creating a really cool effect because the lace weight yarn is more open and the fingering is a little bit more closed. Typically when you're working with lace weight, and I think this is what scares a lot of people off from using lace weight, is you don't have to use a small needle or a small hook. In fact, a lot of lace patterns that utilize lace weight use a larger hook or a larger needle to create a more open work type pattern. So this is the Birds of a Feather pattern by Andrea Mowry. This is on Ravelry. And Breyer used 3 skeins each of both the skinny singles, which is the fingering weight, and the Kid Silk Lace, which is the lace weight. Oh, actually it's three skeins total that she used. I'm sorry, I should have flipped the tag over. It was 2 balls of the skinny singles, which is the fingering weight, and 1 ball of the Kid Silk Lace, which is the lace weight in there. So that's the Birds of a Feather shawl. And I brought a work work in progress with me to kind of show the effect of the lace weight when you're using it with a different weight yarn. So this is my Fantastic by Stephen West. And no, I have not finished it yet. I have been trying, but when you get 700 stitches on a needle, the rows take a long time to knit. So this overall uses fingering weight, but Stephen West suggests throwing in lace weight just for fun, either if you want to double it up with the yarn or if you want to work it solo. So I just worked it by itself. So you can kind of see, like here, I've got lace weight yarn, and here, and I also have it combined in here with fingering weight. So I think it creates such a cool visual effect because you've got this kind of area of thick work with the fingering weight, and then the more open work with the lace weight yarn. So Stephen West actually suggests to throw in some lace weight just for fun. So I took him up on that, and I really like the effect. So again, that's the Fantastic. At minimum, it uses 7 different colors of yarn, or yeah, 7 different colors. He suggests going dark to light. I kind of just did my own thing. I used a lot of purple and lavender with gray and bluish gray in there to just because I like those colors. So I really like the lace weight in there. And once it's blocked, it'll be much more in your face lace weights. So again, you don't have to use the lace weight by itself. You can throw it in the middle of another project using a different weight to create a different effect. So I used the Hedgehog Kid Silk lace for that. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Mom. It's a really fun pattern. So yeah, I highly suggest you give it a try. So again, that was the Fantastic by Stephen West. So you can use the lace weight yarn on its own, which I think is what people are a little scared of because it is such a skinny yarn. But there are really, really cool patterns that you can give it a try and see how you like it. So when it's worked on its own, I would suggest starting out with a yarn that doesn't have the halo to it so you kind of get used to the weight. And then once you've gotten used to working with lace weight yarn, then you can, I would suggest working on the halo yarn by itself. So for a couple of projects to show you all, this might look familiar to some of you, but not, Mom, this will look familiar to you. This is, forgive me, I can't remember the name of the pattern, but I brought the book with me so I wouldn't have to remember. This is the Enigma hooded cardigan, and I actually made this a couple years ago for the customer trunk show. This actually utilizes lace weight yarn, and this uses a larger hook to create the stitch pattern. So I'm not using a teeny tiny little hook. And I'll show you here. It is hooded.
Ooh, that's so cute.
Thanks.
You made that?
I did, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really cool actually because it's basic granny square construction, as you can kind of see here in the back. But it's how the squares are folded and sewed together that creates the cardigan.
Whoa, cool.
Super fun and a great intro pattern to lace yarn. So that would be the Enigma cardigan. I apologize, I forgot to look ahead of time to see if this is on Ravelry or not, but it is in the book Crochet So Fine. And then over here, for you knitters, we've got the Featherweight Cardigan, which is Melody's favorite.
It is.
So this is made from a lace weight yarn. We actually don't carry this yarn anymore, but I think this would look absolutely stunning out of the Jaeger Spun Zephyr or the yarn with more halo to it. So this guy is on Ravelry. Oops, I went off camera there. There we go. So the Featherweight Cardigan is on Ravelry, and this, I have been warned that this pattern does run a little bit small, so if you decide to make it, you might want to size up a little bit. I want to say, so this took a size 5 knitting needle, so again, you're not, even though you're using a smaller yarn, you're not using a smaller needle. So this Featherweight Cardigan is on Ravelry. So for the Crochet Sweater, the Enigma, I used the Zephyr. This we actually have on the website in the weaving yarn, but it is a lace weight yarn. So it is 50-50 wool silk. There's 560 yards in here. This is a hand wash only yarn. And it is $17.99 per hank. And we did grab all the colors so I could give you guys an idea of what we have here. So this is white. And it's a nice creamy white. It's not a bright white. This is coral. So a nice medium pink. And that is juniper. So a tealy blue. Oh, I'm Christy, thank you. This is sable. It's a nice soft brown. This is Aegean blue. So kind of a step darker from a sky blue. That's charcoal, a nice gray. Emerald. So this is definitely a green, but leans just a little bit more towards the bluer side of green. This one is chrome. You know, when I was putting this on the website and I saw the word chrome, I naturally thought it would have been a gray color, but nope, it's this very lovely yellow. And this is copper, so it's kind of orange, but it does look kind of copperish. Cinnabar, so nice soft red. And this guy is Chanel, or Channel, I don't know. I prefer to think of it as Chanel. And of course we've got a purple. This is elderberry. So again, this isn't on the website in the fiber at 4 category, but it's also in the weaving yarns. So this is definitely yarn you can use to weave. It's nice and sturdy, but it's wonderful to crochet with. It is excellent to knit with. So don't let it being in weaving yarn dissuade you from using it.
And actually, we moved some to lace.
Yeah, there are a handful of skeins in the lace weight department if you're able to physically come into the shop. So that's what this guy is made
And
out
it
of.
is on Ravelry. Enigma is on
Okay,
Ravelry.
Enigma is on Ravelry. So pardon me just for a second. Okay, so currently one of the best-selling lace yarns, or one of the most popular lace yarns, is the Shibuya Silk Cloud, which we carry a bunch of colors of. I grabbed them all. I'm not going to list them all off because we'll be here a very long time, but I'll just hold them up and show you real quick. I'll let you know what color this is. This is Abyss because I need to fix the hank real quick. So that's Abyss. And I've got blues and this very lovely purple, which is called Velvet. I know because I have it at home. And oops, I grabbed 2 velvets. How about that? I must really like purple.
Say it so.
I love purple. So that is the Shibuya Silk Cloud. This is a wonderful yarn to work with on its own or to hold double because it does have the wonderful halo to it. It's $26.95 per hank. There are 330 yards here, and it is a 60-40 mohair silk blend. I've got a couple samples of the Silk Cloud just by itself. So this is the Crocheted Mobius Cowl, and this actually used a size L crochet hook. For those of you who aren't familiar with crochet, that is a really big hook. So you can see how nice and open that is. And of course, with it being a Mobius, it's got the fun little twist in it. But this is great yarn. It's soft and it's light, but it'll keep you nice and warm too, so it's not bulky. So that is the Silk Cloud worked on its own. Again, that is the Crocheted Mobius Cowl. It used just 1 skein. They made a size small, so it utilized the whole skein of the Silk Cloud. This pattern is on Ravelry, and it is by Church Mouse, so if Crocheted Mobius Cowl doesn't pull up the right pattern, try searching by Church Mouse. And this guy here is also made with the silk cloud just on its own. Look at how cool that is. It looks neat on the camera. So this is the Mohair Breyer loop. This is also a church mouse pattern. It is made with silk cloud on its own. It utilizes 2 colors, but it only used a half a skein each. So if you get the 2 skeins, you could potentially make 2 of these out of it. And this guy, they actually used a size 10.5 needle. So again, just because something utilizes lace weight yarn doesn't mean you have to use the teeny tiny hooks and needles. So,
It's called Mohair Bias Loop.
bias loop.
Mohair Bias Loop.
Sorry, I couldn't read that handwriting. So Mohair bias loop, and that is on Ravelry. Okay, it is on Ravelry, and it is a church mouse pattern. And again, it's super light, super airy, so it's going to keep you warm without all the massive bulk to it. And so they said on here on the notes, for a solid color, you would only need 1 skein of the silk cloud. And they also suggest using straight knitting needles, so single point needles instead of your circulars. I can kind of see that because the lace weight would probably get caught on the connector between the needle and the cord. So yeah, I would suggest using your straight needles on that guy. And it's done on the bias, which is really, really cool and creates this neat triangular effect in the pattern. So again, that is the Shibuya silk cloud, and I will show you velvet again. Oh, it matches my shirt. It's $26.95 per hank, and it's a 60/40 mohair silk blend, and there are 330 yards here, and we've got it in a rainbow of colors. And I'll just throw it on the floor if that's okay with you guys. So along with the silk cloud, we also have the Lunar by Shibuya. So this is another great yarn that does not have the halo to it. It's much smoother. So you can actually double this up with the silk cloud. So you'll get the colors blending together, but you'll get the halo from the silk cloud in the middle of the Lunar. So that's another good way to utilize that. Holding these 2 together would almost be like working with a fingering weight yarn, so it would be heavier than working just with the lace on its own. Again, this is quite lovely on its own though too. So this is $18.95 per hank. This is the velvet colorway again. This is 60% extra fine merino and 40% mulberry silk. There are 401 yards here. So again, you can put it with its partner, or you can combine it with a contrasting color to create a really neat effect. I wonder if it would almost look okay with the blue, maybe, not quite. So we've got this guy in a rainbow of colors too. So there's the velvet, imperial, which is a nice kind of magenta pink. This, I believe, is ivory. So a nice soft creamy white, not a true white. This is ash, so that's gray, and we've got silk cloud in that as well. And this color I love, even though it's not purple. This is called Crete, and it's such a wonderful shade of blue. So bright and cheerful, I love that. This is Trellis, and Trellis we brought in because we didn't have a really true green. So love this color. And then Caffeine, I love the name of this, Caffeine. Nice pale tan. And Bordeaux, which is a nice creamy burgundy red.
And we've got the silk cloud for that one as well.
Yep, that one we do have the silk cloud for too. And this is Cove, which I don't think I have the silk cloud for, but I probably just didn't grab it. Graphite. I almost said grapevine, that doesn't look purple. Graphite. And this is Suit, which is a nice navy blue. So the Lunar actually looks quite lovely on its own too. This is Beginner's Lace Scarf. This is on Ravelry, and it uses 1 ball, and this one does use a size 3 knitting needle. So it's not a super tiny needle, but it's a little bit smaller than this guy. Actually, it's a lot smaller because this used a 10.5. And okay, this only used 1 looks like it used the entire skein. And this is out of the Cove color. And this is just a super simple, really lovely diamond lace pattern. That looks so cool. So that again is the Shibuya Lunar. And it is $18.95 per hank, 60/40 merino silk blend, and 401 yards in that hank. So again, kind of going back to using it doubled up with another yarn. We've got this cotton gold yarn. This it's 65% cotton, and it's got a glitter yarn and little sequins in it. I'll hold that up for you. This is a really good yarn to use for holiday decorating, or on its own, or in a project if you want to make it sparkle, because there are those of us out here who like sparkles. It's $12.99 per spool, and there are 200 yards here. So, going off camera again for a second, Gail actually used this yarn to make this really fun wreath. So this is just a wreath form. You can kind of see it here on the back. Wire wreath form. She used a chunky weight yarn, and she held it double with the cotton gold. So I don't know if you can see that. So you can see these little threads here. So that's another way to utilize the lace weight yarn. Again, it's not even knitting or crocheting, it's decorating. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's just the wire wreath form, which I don't have on the Fiberette 4 category, but I believe it's under notions. It's $7, and it's just a 12-inch wire wreath form. And that's what was utilized in this. You can kind of see it there. So this is just a chunky weight yarn that she held double with the lace weight, and I'll have to get her on here one of these days to explain how she made this wreath, because it's really, really cool. But that's another way to utilize that lace weight yarn. Again, not knitting or crocheting, just using it to make something sparkle. Yeah, stay. And the last product I have to show you guys tonight is the Shibuya Knits Pebble. This is actually categorized on their website as a fingering weight, but we have it with the lace weight because it is very, very small. So the Pebble is 48% recycled silk, 36% merino, and 16% cashmere. So it doesn't have the halo to it, but it's got a really cool texture. You know, Christy, I would love to know how she made the wreath too. I will have to ask her. It looks like a series of knots, I want to say. So we'll have to ask Gail when she gets back into the shop. I think she's back in the state already. So the Pebble has this really cool texture to it. The two lighter colors have almost a tweedy effect to it, and the darker color, which is Suit, doesn't have quite as much tweed to it, but it still has the same plying effect on it. And I'm actually going to hold these up to the camera so you can get a better view of them. Ooh, there we go. So you can see the tweeding effect in the two lighter colors. The darker blue doesn't have quite the same tweed to it, but it has this really cool textured ply, which I think is how they got the name Pebble for it. So there's 224 yards here. Yeah, they consider it a light fingering weight, but it's very, very tiny. So it is $19.95 per hank, and we've got 3 colors currently. So this is Fjord, that is the dark blue is Suit, and then this is Tar, which is the gray with the tweeding effect going on. And we also have this in a kit. I'll actually have a couple more products to show you guys. So this is the double Pebble Cowl. This is by Church Mouse. The kit does come with the pattern and 2 skeins of the Pebble yarn. They're $39.99 for the kit, and this one actually has the purple in it. Yay! So this is the finished product. So it utilizes 2 different colors. So you have one color, the second color, and then you hold them together for the third stripe, and that, just do that, looks like until you run out of yarn. So it's got even stripes at the top, and then at the bottom it's got the bulkier stripes. So that's a really, really cool pattern. And before I forget, I do have one more kit to show you guys. This is the Wild Bird Shawl. This is a project designed by Tony Lipsey. For those of you who are frequent viewers, you know how much I adore Tony Lipsey. This is a traditional crochet project. I mention that because she does a lot of Tunisian as well. This is traditional. This utilizes a fingering weight yarn held double with the silk cloud. So you're getting the halo effect throughout the shawl. And let me hold the picture up to the camera so you can get a better idea of that. Or Marianne will hold it up to the camera for us.
Pretty.
So that is a Tony Lipsey, and the pattern is available on Ravelry. If you buy the kit, we will purchase the pattern for you. For those of you who are crocheters, I highly, highly recommend looking at Tony Lipsey's website and Ravelry page. She has got projects of every skill level from beginner to more advanced. And it's also a great way to learn Tunisian crochet. She's got a lot of tips and tricks, and she has her own YouTube channel, so if you need a little guidance, that's a great place to go. So before we sign up tonight, I brought some books in these are great resources for if you want to learn more about lace. I did check it out, and all but one of these books is available at the Longmont Public Library for those of you who are local. So the first book I would suggest is this book called Wrapped in Lace. And this book has some very lovely patterns, but it also has a little bit of history of lace, like scarves and, crud, I forgot what they're called. I drew a blank.
It happens.
The christening shawls, which are very traditionally very lacy blankets. They're more for, I hate to use the word decoration, but that's the only word coming to mind. They're more for decoration than actual
Ceremony.
Ceremony, thank you. It's more ceremony than actual blanket usage.
Day-to-day usage.
Yeah, it's like heirloom quality projects. So this has wonderful projects, but it does have tips, tricks, and history. So this book is available at the Longmont Public Library.
And the author?
The author is Margaret Stove, and I want to say, yep, this is an Interweave Press book. This book, unfortunately, is not available at the Longmont Public Library. I did look into it, and it is available at the Erie Community Library. So, author, Margaret Stove, S-T-O-V-E. So that is Wrapped in Lace. This book is wonderful. This is Knitted Lace of Estonia. This is by Nancy Bush. This is available at the Erie Community Library. I don't think they have it here in Longmont. This is wonderful. It gives you the history of the lace in Estonia. It has wonderful, wonderful patterns. And not only does it have the patterns, but it has a lace dictionary, and it has different stitch patterns at the back. So you don't necessarily have to use a lace weight yarn. You can take these designs and apply them to a DK weight sweater or a worsted weight scarf. They would look stunning.
How do you spell Bush?
B-U-S-H. So that is Knitted Lace of Estonia, and you can borrow this from the Erie Community Library. And then here's Crochet So Fine for us crocheters. This is where this came from. This is by Kristen Omdahl. This book is available at the Longmont Public Library. This utilizes not only lace weight, but like fingering weights, so it's still in the skinnier side of yarns, but this is a great, great book. This is where I got the Enigma pattern. So it's, Marianne, it's Kristin,
Thank you.
and her last name is Omdahl. So that is Crochet So Fine. This is available at the Longmont Public Library. And then the last last one, this is called Delicate Crochet, and this is a collection of patterns from various designers. The editor is Sharon Hearns Silverman. This is available at the Longmont Public Library, and this utilizes not only lace weight yarn, but it also has some DK weight. I think it has a couple worsted weight in here, but it does have some wonderful lace weight patterns for us crocheters. Again, this is available at the Longmont Public Library for you to borrow. So those 4 books are really amazing resources for lace knitting and crocheting, utilizing not only the super skinny yarn, but some of the thicker yarns. And even if you're not wanting to make a lace weight project, I would recommend just checking these books out, taking a look at them, and just kind of getting an idea of the history and yep, that's it.
So here's the pattern for that Christiana just finished, and it's the.
Actually, I finished it a while ago.
Well, okay, but she's displaying it now, and it's the hooded cardigan.
So again, I would recommend just taking a look at these books, and if these books aren't available, try checking out another book about lace knitting or crocheting. There's so many tips and tricks and techniques that you can apply to your other knitting and crocheting. So yeah, isn't that fantastic?
So there's a really pretty, shopping bag done as a lace.
So again, I hope that this has inspired you to look at lace weight kind of in a different light. You can use it by itself, you can double it up with another yarn, or you can put it as a pop in your shawls or sweaters to kind of give a different texture to the project. And again, if you have any questions about any of these products or about using lace weight in your knitting or crocheting, just let us know. And next week we're going to start, I believe, looking at fall projects, because fall is literally just around the corner. So thanks guys for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much for dropping by, and have a lovely rest of your Sunday.